Welcome to another Hydrohaven exclusive. Today we're diving deep into the world of super soil, the foundation of thriving plants and bountiful harvests that many professional growers keep as their most closely guarded secret. If you've ever wondered why some gardeners seem to have that magic touch, chances are they've mastered the art of soil building. By the end of this guide, you'll have the knowledge to create nutrient-dense, living soil that will transform your garden's performance without breaking the bank. Great soil isn't just dirt, it's a complex, living ecosystem. When we create super soil, we're essentially building a self-sustaining microbiome that works in harmony with your plants. This living foundation does the heavy lifting by breaking down nutrients, fighting diseases, and creating the perfect environment for root development. The difference between average garden soil and super soil is dramatic. While basic potting mixes might sustain plants temporarily, super soil creates a long-term partnership between beneficial microorganisms and your plant's root systems. This relationship allows for efficient nutrient uptake, stronger disease resistance, and improved stress tolerance during extreme weather conditions. Creating super soil involves blending several key components in the right proportions. It all begins with the base materials: garden loam, mature compost, and aeration amendments. Loam, making up about 40% of the mix, provides the ideal structure and mineral content. It balances drainage and moisture retention while supporting microbial life. Mature compost, about 30%, brings organic matter and a wide range of nutrients. Mushroom compost, worm castings, and homemade compost are all excellent choices. For aeration, which should be around 15%, perlite, pumice, or rice hulls help prevent compaction and create air pockets, keeping roots healthy and oxygenated. Next, we introduce concentrated sources of essential nutrients. Nitrogen, which makes up around 5%, is vital for plant growth and is best sourced from blood meal, feather meal, or alfalfa meal. Phosphorus, which makes up about 3%, supports root development and fruiting. You can use options like bone meal rock phosphate or fish bone meal. Potassium, also at 3%, strengthens overall plant health. You can supply it with kelp meal, wood ash, used sparingly of course, or langbeinite. Calcium, making up 2%, is essential for cell wall development and preventing blossom end rot. For this, you can use oyster shell flour gypsum or finely ground eggshells. Trace minerals, also at 2%, complete the nutritional profile. Azomite, green sand, and basalt rock dust slowly release micronutrients. These are crucial in small doses but make a big difference in long-term soil health. Certain ingredients can take your soil from good to truly exceptional. Mycorrhizal fungi inoculants form symbiotic relationships with plant roots, expanding their nutrient and water uptake capacity. Just a tablespoon per cubic foot of soil mix can drastically improve plant health. Biochar, added at about 3% of the mix, offers a stable structure for microbes and helps retain nutrients, especially in sandy soils. Make sure to charge biochar before use by soaking it in compost tea or worm castings water. Humic acids, at 1%, improve soil structure and nutrient availability, while beneficial bacteria products, such as those containing Bacillus subtilis or Bacillus amyloliquefaciens, kickstart the microbial life in your mix. Start by gathering all materials, including a large tarp, gloves, measuring tools, and a shovel. If you're making a large batch, a cement mixer can help blend ingredients evenly. Begin by mixing your base materials, loam, compost, and aeration components, on the tarp until uniform in color and texture. Then, layer on your nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium sources, folding the mix thoroughly to ensure even distribution. Next, add your calcium and trace minerals. These powders are often fine, so wear a dust mask if needed. Once these are blended in, it's time to introduce your biological elements. Follow product instructions for mycorrhizae, biochar, humic acids, and beneficial bacteria to avoid overuse. After mixing, lightly moisten the entire batch with non-chlorinated water until it feels like a wrung-out sponge, moist but not soggy. Allow your soil to cure for 2 to 4 weeks in a covered container or a tarp-covered pile. This curing time lets microorganisms begin interacting and forming the soil food web. Turn the pile weekly to ensure proper aeration and even curing. Super soil is powerful, but using it correctly makes all the difference. For container gardening, use it as 30 to 50% of your potting mix and balance it with lighter materials like coco coir or peat moss to improve texture. In garden beds, mix it into the top 8 to 12 inches of soil or fill raised beds entirely with it for optimal results. When transplanting, create holes twice the size of the root ball and mix super soil with native soil in a 70-30 ratio to form a nutrient-rich transition zone that encourages outward root growth. Even the best super soil benefits from seasonal care. Midway through the growing season, top dress with compost or worm castings to replenish nutrients. At season's end, rejuvenate your used soil by mixing in 20% new compost and half doses of the original amendments, then let it cure before using it again. Keeping a garden journal can help you fine-tune your mix for specific crops and conditions in future seasons. If you notice pale leaves, you might be dealing with nitrogen deficiency. Top dress with alfalfa meal or apply diluted fish emulsion. Stunted growth could mean poor drainage or compaction, in which case adding more aeration components is key. Purple leaf undersides are often a sign of phosphorus deficiency. Try steeping bone meal in water for 48 hours and applying the resulting liquid. One of the most frequent mistakes is using unfinished compost. If your compost isn't fully decomposed, it can steal nitrogen from your plants as it continues to break down. Always use mature compost that smells earthy, not sour. Another misstep is overlooking the importance of aeration. Skipping or skimping on perlite, pumice, or other aeration materials can lead to compaction, root rot, and slow plant growth. Overloading the mix with high nitrogen amendments like blood meal or too much alfalfa can burn plant roots or cause excessive leafy growth at the expense of flowers and fruits. Also, using uncharged biochar can actually leach nutrients from your soil rather than enhance it, so be sure to activate it first. Don't forget the biology. Many gardeners focus solely on the physical and chemical aspects of soil, ignoring the living component. Without mycorrhizae and beneficial bacteria, your soil won't reach its full potential. And finally, not curing the mix can be a critical error. Freshly made soil needs time to stabilize and allow microbial life to flourish before planting. One of the best aspects of DIY super soil is the ability to customize it based on what you're growing. For heavy feeders like tomatoes and corn, consider adding more compost and an extra boost of phosphorus and potassium. Root crops like carrots and radishes prefer lighter, well-aerated soil, so increase the amount of perlite or rice hulls. For flowering perennials and fruiting shrubs, kelp meal and rock phosphate help with blooming and fruit production. Acid-loving plants such as blueberries benefit from elemental sulfur or pine bark fines to lower soil pH slightly. Succulents and herbs may prefer a leaner mix with less compost and slower release nutrients. Creating super soil isn't just about following a recipe, it's about embracing a philosophy of gardening that works with nature. You're not just building soil, you're cultivating a living ecosystem that supports plant health at every level. Join our Hydrohaven community by subscribing to our channel, sharing your favorite amendments in the comments, and helping others on their gardening journey. Happy growing from all of us at Hydrohaven.